Welcome back to the Football Terrace. It's straight facts. It's Tuesday, a little earlier than usual as Galatasaray kick off against Liverpool at 5:45 in the Champions League tonight. But we're looking ahead at some of the big clashes in the Champions League this week with Chelsea's huge test against PSG. City play Real Madrid amongst their 7 games from hell. We're looking at Arsenal's easy ride in the run-in for this quad that has triggered a fair few It won't be triggering LB. LB doesn't do all that nonsense, but there's a few City fans talking about corruption online we're going to go through. Plus, we're talking a little bit of transfer news as well. All that and a bit more. So like, share, and subscribe. Get the bell notification turned on. But Egal, LB, gentlemen, how are you both?
I'm doing good, man. How you guys been?
All right, mate. Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. Excited for the Champions League to be back. Going to be watching the games tonight, watching Liverpool and then Newcastle, Barca. So excited to watch that. But yeah, good, man.
You must be excited. Rodri didn't get suspended also.
I know, yeah, I know. I assume you've done a tweet about it.
Hey, it is what it is.
I got community noted because of it.
Oh, really?
Well, honestly, I didn't think much of it. I put a tweet out and then I deleted it and reposted the exact same words, but added some more context onto it. Just because I felt it was a little bit soft from the FA, because other players in the past have accused them of cheating and managers have been banned. But on a real level, I'm not that bothered by it, but I just sort of put, no ban for him. And I got a context community note saying, well, the players you've mentioned that also got bans, they did it. That was because they used abusive language at the same time. And I'm like, oh, so because he didn't say, because he said you are corrupt, he didn't get a ban. But if he had said you are fucking corrupt, he would have done. I was like, okay, context. But yeah, I was a little surprised. I thought he would, but it is what it is. You know, you move on. At least we now know our players can call out the refs and call them cheats, and there should be no ban. So it's good. It's good. It's a good news.
Did Charlie Austin get banned?
Who? I don't remember. I know a few of them.
Yeah, Charlie Austin, yeah, but the difference between, like, I don't know if people have actually seen what Rodri said. Like, compared to Charlie Austin went mad. Like, the guy went crazy in the interview. It's completely different. You know what I mean?
Hey, at this point, I just know that they're gonna what do you call it? Have their reasons, but watch in a couple years or a year's time or something, they're gonna completely be hypocrites and then they're gonna ban somebody else for the same thing.
Of course they will, but at the same time, look, these things happen in every single direction. Maguire conceded a penalty a few weeks ago for not the identical action, but the same scenario as Rodri and Anderson in the Forest game. Raul Jimenez gets his shot away. Maguire slides in. Raul Jimenez's shooting foot stands on Maguire's leg. The shots happened, and a penalty was given. But we've seen Isak have his leg broken this year. We've seen Rodri fouled and Foden fouled after their shots have been taken, as an example. And only one of those occasions a penalty was given. So this happens against City as well, by the way. If we're going to be really fair about it, I just like calling it out. And, you know, the one thing that I thought was weird is how long it took. It took nearly 40 days to come to the Rodri decision.
Yeah, that was weird.
That was very strange.
Apparently it's because they had to, like, you know, they had to request statements and all that kind of stuff. And then we have to give a timed scale on statements. It's just another load of nonsense by the Premier League, and it should just be done and dusted like the day after, really.
No,
but I actually think journalists shouldn't be able to ask about referees, because journalists go in those press conferences, right, and ask managers. By the way, you got to remember, yeah, like, this is minutes after the game's finished. So this is you know, lads or men who have just finished a high intense match with a lot of stakes, you know, high stakes football matches. There could be titles on the line. There could be relegation on the line. There could be trophies on the line. And minutes later, you're asking in a press conference or after the game about a refereeing decision, which the player or the manager, yeah, might. And by the way, this is for all clubs and all players, about a decision that you think's gone against you. Like, I like, why are they allowed to ask that question? Yeah, when they know that the player or the manager is going to get banned if they say anything negative, because, you know, otherwise you just get the sarky comments. In which, what's the point in asking the question? So, like, I don't understand how these journalists are allowed to ask the question. If you answer it with a negative view, then you get banned. So what's the point in asking the question?
Yeah, look, I don't overly disagree. I feel that you're not. Yeah, it's the media doing what the media like to do, and it's about trying to create a headline and a story. And I was talking to a few Man United content creators this week who will remain nameless because people think that they only care about views and clicks. But how are you getting on? Yeah, I'm fine. A little catch up. How's content going? Oh, Carrick's doing my head in. Oh, why? What's he done? Well, nothing. What do you mean nothing? He doesn't say anything controversial. He doesn't talk about eras coming to an end. He doesn't slag off refs. He's just boring. I mean, what's wrong with that? Oh, there's not as much to react to. Now, I view it as I love the fact we're not in the headlines. I absolutely love it. I love it when we don't play because then nothing can go wrong. And I'm like, but I suppose that's what the media like. That's why it troubled me. They said it a little bit because I'm sitting there going, well, this is exactly what the media do. The media ask questions, hoping for a specific answer to run derogatory headlines about your football club. And that, for me, is all they do. So I don't disagree with you there, LB. I absolutely think you're right in that.
Okay, you're okay, Terry. You got Paul Scholes.
He banned so many of these people for the right reasons. So, yeah.
You don't have to worry about your manager giving you headlines. You got your former legends that can give you headlines, like Paul Scholes.
Fuck me. Oh, mate. Honestly, I love our legends for what they did on the pitch, but I absolutely hate them for what they for the way they talk. And he's come out and like not backed it now either, if that makes sense. He's kind of like come out and done the whole sort of like kind of come out and done the whole sort of, I didn't mean it in that way. It wasn't meant as a dig towards him. Oh, fuck off. Everyone could see that it was a dig towards him. We're not stupid. But yeah, no, I just think sometimes less is more. Sometimes, but then some people can't do less because if they're not being controversial, and I know it's Paul Scholes and we all know who he is, but I do think some of these ex-players have realized unless they're saying controversial things, nobody really cares about what it is they're saying, if that makes sense.
Love Heart Tonali was the weirdest part of that whole thing.
What did he say? I've not seen this.
So basically, Scholes, after we lost to Newcastle, Scholes just tweeted and said, yeah, Carrick's really special, isn't he? We've been crap for the last 4 games.
That, yeah. What about the first game he's lost in the league?
First game he's lost, and a lot of people getting about how crap we've been in those 4 games, and I'm like, the context just seems to be totally missing on people. The same man that would have said, "I'll give Amorim time, transfer windows, pre-season. How can he perform with this squad?" We haven't even played that badly, but all it really comes down to is egos, and people that don't want Carrick are like, this is my chance to go in because I've had to be silent.
Right. Are these people not tired? I mean, I'm not even a United fan, and I'm tired about talking about the Man United manager. Like, let's just be real, yeah? Amorim got fired, long overdue, right? He's basically an interim manager to the end of the season. And listen, I'm a City fan, so I hate United. Carrick's done a good job. Now, like, fair play. If someone's saying give him the job, give him a 5-year contract, how about just chill out? How about wait until the end of the season, see how he gets on and calm down, and then decide at the end of the season? But on the same side, like, why are these United fans saying he's not good enough, he's not good? How about just wait until the end of the season? Let's see how he does to the end of the season. And then at the end of the season, you can assess his body of work and go, you know what? This might be worth giving him the job. This is what he's done in 4 months. This is what he's done in 4 months. Yes or no? But for me, I'm just like, to be having a conversation about Carrick in or Carrick out or whether he's good enough or not, especially when the guy's lost 1 match. Like, bro, come on, man. Like, this is mad.
I agree.
This is why they're doing it. Terry, this is why I think they're doing it. He's doing it to stay in the headlines. He's a club legend. He is a big part of Manchester United, and anything he says about the club is going to gain massive traction. And I don't know why he's rage baiting your own fan base after a loss, which is kind of crazy. But the weirdest thing of it all is he's coming off as an attention seeker. Like, I get if Nicky Butt was doing this, but Paul Scholes, you don't need to do this. You're better than this.
I sort of look, my Mark Goldbridge were talking about this exact thing earlier on today, and Mark's sort of words were, and I'm paraphrasing slightly, but he said, look, for me, don't like Ineos, don't like Wilcox, don't like any of them, don't like the Glazers. Carrick's just a puppet. He's not here for the long term. He wasn't what they were trying to build. I don't want him to stay. I think we've got to go for best in class. So I'm just kind of against all of it, which I don't agree or disagree with. It's just an opinion, right? It's something I'm not really that interested in debating. I just want to hear people's views. But then also says that there could be a world where we need a Michael Carrick for the next couple of years because maybe the 2 or 3 elite managers that we're looking at all say no. And I do then think Carrick, as we build the squad and we kind of grow, because I think Ollie was right for a couple of years, but we just stuck with him too long when we should have moved on to an elite manager. But I think there's a lot of fear in the Man United fan base. Carrick will just end like Ollie because their connection is they're both ex-players and neither are elite managers.
But why not? Why not?
Minded.
But you know what, Terry, though? Like I say, why not just wait till the end of the season and see how he gets on? What about if he wins every game for the rest of the season? What about if he loses every game for the rest of the season?
Mate,
No, you don't have to make a decision on Michael Carrick now in March. There's absolutely no pressure to do that.
And I don't think Man United fans need to be talking about it every day.
I agree with you. Like, this is what I'm saying. Like,
my view is this, but sometimes whenever it always comes up, after every win, the guys that want him go crazy. After every little setback, the guys that don't want him go crazy. But I think the majority of us are in the middle saying, what the fuck are we doing? What are we doing here? The club's already, and this is the problem with it, because people don't like Ineos. Everything they brief, they say it's a lie. But sometimes it's just a case of, well, can we just be quiet for a moment? Because they've come out and said no decisions being made until the end of the season, until they interview multiple managers, including some of the guys these people want. So it doesn't really matter what the results are. Oh, I think if he wins, it means that we're definitely going to go to him. Yeah, you're the same people that cried last year for 3 months. We only had 100 million to spend. You're the same people that cried the transfer strategy was so wrong and we missed out on our main targets. We were not going to improve this year. And look where we are. By the way, a lot of you are the same people that attacked the club for not spending £80 million on Conor Gallagher 3 weeks ago. So from my perspective, I just feel sometimes less is more. Stay a bit more silent. But I suppose, again, if you're a big TikToker, if you're a big YouTuber, if that's how you earn your money, you can't stay silent, can you? You've got to make a noise. So, but it is jarring. I totally agree. On City, LB, I've seen, and I'm not going to say it's from all because it isn't, and I don't know what your reaction to this is, but after the FA Cup draw yesterday, a lot of the fixture lists were put out, and we saw that, I think your next 7 games are very, very difficult on paper. You're playing. I'm going to actually get them up in front of me so that I
got it. I already know it. Real Madrid.
Go on.
Real Madrid, West Ham, Real Madrid, Arsenal, Carabao Cup final, Liverpool FA Cup. If we beat Real Madrid, Bayern Munich away, Chelsea away, Bayern Munich at home, Arsenal at home.
And there's a lot of, again, I know you probably won't sit with this group of City fans, but a lot of City fans online talking about it's corruption. They're trying to stop you. How worried, though, are you about that run of games? Your manager's come out and been a little bit scathing about the fixture list. Your players have complained about it. Fans, I had a City fan today messaging me saying it's disgusting that you're not being given more rest. And I said, well, you and Arsenal are playing about the same amount, getting the same amount of rest. And his response was, because we've got harder teams, we should be given more rest than Arsenal. It does feel a little bit far in that regards. But how are you feeling about those fixtures? How do you think that's going to impact your season as a whole?
I'm actually excited, mate, because when we play the smaller teams is often when we don't look like up for it and we drop off. So I'm excited. You know what I mean? Like, this is what football's about. You want to be playing the best team. You want to be involved. My club's still in all 4 competitions. Despite everyone saying City are trash this season, we're still in all 4 competitions. We've beaten Real Madrid away once already this season. They've got an injury crisis. Fully confident of getting a result tomorrow and progressing to the next round, regardless of what happens tomorrow. I think we'll beat Liverpool at home in the FA Cup unless Pep does a madness and rotates the team, which he might do because, maybe a couple injuries, international break, maybe he needs rest, whatever. But I'm pretty confident, man. I don't know, man. This is what it's about, man. If you want to fucking compete at the top level, you got fucking, get in the kitchen. You know what I'm saying? This is that's what it's about. So for me, I'm excited. Do we expect to be in all 4 competitions in 6 weeks' time? Probably not. You know what I mean? It'll be unlikely that we'll probably still be in all 4, given how many games we've got, the intensity of games, injuries, fatigue, all that kind of stuff. And of course, we don't know what's going to happen in the international break. There's always normally a rogue injury somewhere, but I'm excited for it, man. I ain't moaning about it. It's tough. Is it hard? Yeah, of course it is. It's a tough gig, but if you want to be competing at the top level of Premier League and the Champions League and the domestic cups, this is what it's about. So ain't no point in complaining about it, mate. Yeah, ain't no point in complaining about it. So, yeah, it's what it is. I'm excited.
I like that, LB. I rate that. You're consistent. I rate that. I see a lot of Man City fans crying about corruption, but it was your club legend who drew Arsenal. So surely, if it was corruption, wouldn't he have tried to draw Man City instead of Arsenal? Right? Like it's super silly.
I'll tell you something, Egal. Yeah, if you want an easier draw, then you shouldn't finish 8th in the Champions League. Pep Guardiola
100%.
decided, brother, like Pep Guardiola rotated our team against Bayer Leverkusen at home. Yeah, completely changed the starting 11. We lost 2-0, and in the last 15 minutes, he put on Cherky, Haaland, and someone else. Yeah, we battered them for 15 minutes. We didn't score, but we cooked them. And basically, I'm saying if we would have started a full strength team at home, we probably would have beat them. So, this is 2 years now in a row of this new format of the Champions League where we've dropped points unnecessarily in the league phase, and we've paid the price. We got Real Madrid in the knockout round last year. We got them again this year. Like, you got to deal with it.
LB, remind me, did you not play Bodo Glimt and Leverkusen this year? Did you win those games?
Yeah, we played Monaco away and give a penalty away with 2 minutes, 3 or 4, 5 minutes to go, which was stupid. So no, we only got ourselves to blame on the Real Madrid thing. Listen, I don't think Real Madrid are that good this year.
I'm taking it back to the Arsenal thing, not you, but to the Man City fans who are being hypocritical, saying Arsenal have easy fixtures. Your same team lost to Leverkusen this year. Your same team, or last year, I forget exactly when you played Leverkusen. You lost to Bodo Glimt this year. It's just funny to me that now that you guys have tough fixtures, all of a sudden some of your fans want to play victim. But a couple of weeks ago, you guys were favorites to win everything, and Arsenal's not winning anything. It's just funny how things go.
Now, can I ask you a question though? Because I have the same energy for this. Can you see how silly it sounds now when there are some of the City players and Pep to a degree at the weekend talk about the yellow cards and injuries, but more so the corruption? Do you see how silly your corruption allegations sound now that you're looking at it from the other side all these years later?
Honestly, Terry, I was more upset with the referees giving a call, which they don't do as often, kicking the ball away. That was my main argument. Outside of that, the other calls, even
you were calling corruption well before that, though, mate. You've been calling corruption for 5 years on here.
The reality is, when things are going your way, you're gonna look for problems. And now that I look, maybe you can look at it from the perspective of I was looking for problems when my team wasn't good enough. But the reality was we weren't good enough in the 2022-2023 season. There was no corruption there. The season when we lost by 1 point, I can't really call corruption. Man City were just getting their job done, and we weren't good enough. As for the Liverpool season, I thought it was injuries. If I was ever going to call for corruption, it was the situation where against Brentford, where they didn't draw the lines and they end up sacking the ref, Lee Mason. That I called corruption, and the kicking the ball away. I think those are the 2 incidents where.
But it was never corruption. It was just bad refereeing, and this is the point I'm making. It's what I am enjoying watching with certain City fans is how they're kind of becoming everything they said they hated about Arsenal fans. And by the way, that group of Arsenal fans were a special case as well. But I'm seeing, the referee agenda, the injury agenda, that clip going around of the official of the Premier League talking about they've got a plan for a new name on the trophy every 6 years. Well, that ain't Arsenal, is it? Because Arsenal's name's already on the damn thing 3 or 4 times. So it don't even make sense. That sort of stuff, I kind of like watching. The Arsenal, take accountability. There are no excuses not to win. That's why I like LB's takes, because LB is consistent no matter what's going on. I don't agree with everything he says, but there is a consistency there. And I do think City should be embracing this, because at the same very time, the same City fans I see moaning about all the fixtures are mocking Man United for having 1 game a week or 1 game every 11 days at the minute. And I'd swap places with City in a heartbeat in terms of the fixtures for the remainder of the season. It is unbelievable. And I don't think City are going to fare as badly in these games as some people feel. I think you're going to beat Real Madrid in both legs. I think you'll beat them in both legs. You've got a great chance in the Carabao Cup final. I agree. I think you'll knock Liverpool out of the FA Cup unless you go crazy weak, which I'm not sure if you'll do. And yeah, I don't think this is as kind of season ending for City. I hope it is. I hope they lose almost all of it. Although, having said that, Arsenal are also dicing with a quad or a treble, which I don't want them to get. So might need City at one point. Might get to a point where you're going, all right, City, so maybe City winning the Carabao Cup's a good thing for Man United at the moment, because and rivals. But yeah, look, I don't think City are in as bad a trouble as people are making out. I actually thought against Newcastle at the weekend, LB, that after the first 20 minutes, I'd say that's your best performance in 2 years. I thought you were phenomenal.
We played really well against Liverpool early in the season, Bournemouth and Dortmund, right? But I think it was Dortmund. So it's definitely top 3, top 4 of the season. I think it might be the best. The problem is the first 20 minutes, like they kind of did cook us, you know what I mean? But yeah, if outside of that first 20 minutes, I thought we were so dominant, man. Like we kept the ball really well, we pressed them back, we created chances, defended well after the first 20 minutes. So yeah, it was good to see, man. We needed a bit of a bounce back after the Wednesday game, but Nico Gonzalez was fantastic. Savio looked really good. I mean, he's been shocking this year. You know what I mean? No City fan will glaze him. He's been shocking this year by 1 or 2 games. But he was excellent, taking player on every time. He cooked Lewis Hall, got absolutely rinsed. I don't know if you've seen his goal. That was pretty funny. But yeah, it was nice to see. But you know, like this season, we've just been an inconsistent team. You know what I mean? Like, how can you play like that against Newcastle and then play like you did in the previous game against Forest? It's just like, and that's probably why we won't win the league. I mean, we've still got a chance if we win every game. I think we've got to win every game for the rest of the season to win the league. I think if we do that, we will win the league. But we're not consistent enough. Like, you know, our best streak this season in the Premier League is 6 wins. You know, normally City are getting up to 8, 9. You know what I mean? At some point in the season, we have to do 9 this year, but for the rest of the season, we've the best is 6. So a little bit frustrating.
Do you blame finishing or chance creation, LB? Just asking.
What, in the Forest game?
Throughout this season, when you've drawn against Sunderland, Bournemouth,
I would say it's a mix of finishing. It's a mix of finishing. I think it's a mix of finishing, chance creation, and game management. I don't think it's got anything to do with the defense, if I'm being completely honest with you. I think game management is something, and you know, you see in certain games where you know you need to apply a certain tactic, you know, when you're in a certain situation. So there's a couple of games that spring to mind. Arsenal at the Emirates, 1-0 up, 93 minutes, right? Instead of taking the ball to the corner flag, I've got Nico Gonzalez and Tijani Reinders trying to dribble past players and try and press Arsenal. Just sit back, absorb pressure, you get the goal. That's poor game management. That's really poor game management. I look at the Spurs game. Go 2-0 up, we're cooking them. Go and get that 3rd goal, kill the game. You didn't. The pressure's off Tottenham. You let them back in, and then you just, you know, you fall off. Game management again. However, in games like Sunderland, finishing from Savio was shocking. He missed 2 sitters. Chelsea, sitters, and chance creation. So it's sort of a mix of 3 things. The one area I don't blame is the defense. I don't blame the defense at all this year for what's happened. I think it's the uphill.
Hey, I think Man City, one thing they do is they do raise their levels when they face top teams, but you also are very vulnerable. You have been, until you brought in Guehi, you've been giving up a lot of chances, a lot more chances than Arsenal to your opponents. So facing Real Madrid, I still think you're going to get past the likes of Real Madrid. I wouldn't be surprised if West Ham made the game more interesting. But when I look at this run, I look at it as a favorable situation for my side. Forget about my draw. Man City having such tough fixtures from now to the end of the season, I think it can get them to be locked in. But at the same time, the fatigue is going to face in because they don't have the same level of quality that they did the past years when they were competing for trebles and getting 100 points. So I'm looking at this Man City team and I'm saying they're vulnerable. I know we have to still be 100%, but they could still go and win one or two trophies. But I don't think they're going to go on runs where they go and smash every team. This is definitely a big favor to Arsenal. And Man City fans, it's understandable that they're worried going into these fixtures. It's on your team to show a level of consistency, which you've not really shown too often this season.
Yeah, that's what I think the league's going to be tough. I think my prediction on the league is that I think Arsenal drop points in 2 games. And that's the game at the Etihad, which I have to assume City are going to win if I think City are going to win the league anyway, and 1 more game. That means City have to win every game for the rest of the season to win the league. And I just don't see that happening. Like, I don't see that happening. And then, you know, maybe we'll drop points in 1 game and win 8. But then Arsenal have to drop points in 3 games out of 8. That's nearly half the match. I don't see that happening. So I just think that game against Forest, I just think it's left us too much to do, man. I think it's just left us too much to do.
Bringing it back to the fixtures, we have an advantage in the sense that we can rotate. If we kill off the tie early against Leverkusen, we could possibly rotate second leg, and then when we face Bodo Glimt or Sporting, that's a much easier tie than what you're going to have in Bayern, and maybe we can find ourselves in a similar situation. So as long as we do our job at home, I mean, as long as we do our job away from home, at home we might have a favorable second leg.
It does give you that opportunity. At the same time, in defensive City, when you get those hard games, it can sharpen you because you get no time to relax a little bit. And that's the one thing Arsenal have got to guard against. And I think your supporters have got to guard against, because I think supporters, you know, I think when Man United fans are too negative all the time, I think it hurts us. I think it gets into the dressing room. I also think you can be overconfident. And I think there's that element of Bayer Leverkusen are still a tough team. As we know, they drew with City or beat City this year.
They beat us 2-0. But Pep rotated the full.
Yeah, he rotated. But they're capable of doing that in a game, in the sense of if you go there and it's, we're through, and you're not fully focused, you know, they're the type of team that can sting you in that way. In terms of City against Real Madrid, how do you see that going this week, LB, the first leg?
I mean, I have to be confident, right? Why am I confident? I mean, I've already beaten them once earlier in the season, away from home at the Bernabeu. And I would say City are now, you know, better than we were then. They've got injury problems. Rodrigo's out with an ACL. Jude Bellingham's out. Mbappe apparently will be out. Apparently he's training, but they're saying he ain't going to play because he ain't 100% fit. But you never know. Maybe it's just like a Madrid, tactic thing. They're going to play him. They've got players on yellow cards who are going to miss the second leg. Vinny Jr., if he gets booked tomorrow, misses the second leg. Their left back's out injured. So there's no real excuses, man, to be honest with you. I mean, I'm expecting to go there tomorrow and win. I mean, if we get a draw, obviously, you know, that's not a bad result. You know, no one's going to say that's a bad result. Get the draw at the Bernabeu, you beat them at home. That's sort of the general play, innit? But I think City fans and the club should be going there trying to win the game, try to get a good result. Again, bit of positive energy. You just beat Newcastle, let's beat Real Madrid, and then all of a sudden, you know, you've gone from really depressed against Forest to, you know, maybe we're doing something again. But yeah, I'm pretty confident, man. Like you say, Terry, like I've had this a lot of it. I had a debate over the last, you know, couple of days with people on my channel about, you know, sometimes it is better to play better teams because you have to like you say, you have to sharpen your focus because you know you have to be dialed in. You know, sometimes you go out there. Well, for example, I'll give you an example. When we went to Anfield, right, and Bernardo Silva said this as well. Everyone knew we have to win the game or we're out the start race. Just do or die. Right? You go to Leeds, same thing. I'm telling you now as a City fan, when we played Forest on Wednesday, it didn't feel like that. And it's not, I wouldn't say it was arrogance or anything, because I know that I've watched Forest a lot. I watched them against Liverpool a couple of weeks ago. They're a decent team. It didn't have that feeling of, oh my God, this is a do or die game. You know what I mean? And you sort of saw that in the performance. Like, it wasn't the worst performance in the world, to be honest with you, but like it lacked a little bit of like killer instinct, a little bit of like when you go 1-0 up, oh my God, let's go and get that second goal and kill it. It kind of felt like, oh, we're 1-0 up, let's just chill for a bit. You know what I mean? It's like, no. So when you're playing the better teams, you can't go into the games with that mentality because you know you'll get cooked, mate. So, but on the flip side, when you play these top teams, it's more fatiguing, it's more physically intense. And when you're playing 8 games like we're doing, can you last that long without you know, dying off? So we'll see how it goes, man. You know, like I say, the good news is in 5 weeks, season will be over or it'll be properly on for us. Like,
hey, this is lock-in time.
This lock-in time, bro.
I'm excited. I mean, do you know what's crazy? I do wish Man United were in it because I know we're not a good enough team at the minute. I'm actually glad we're not, because I know we're just getting back, like, not embarrassed as such.
You guys are a good big game team.
Yeah, no, but we can be good off what with the 2 games under Carrick where we've dropped points. Lissandro Martinez being out don't help because we have no one at the back that can break the lines with a pass. But it's the 2 times that we played twice in a week. As soon as that team, like the first team plays twice a week, you're a little bit more tired and you rotate 2 or 3 players and the standard drops. We ain't ready for that. So I'm kind of glad. I wish we were good enough to be in it with you guys, but I'm kind of glad that my team isn't with the level that we're at because we get embarrassed, I think, over the course of 3 or 4 weeks. But I'm excited for it. I'm all up for it. And even like Arsenal having the easier draw, we're going to come back to Arsenal's running a little bit later in the show. I even don't think that's as simple as people are making out as well. This kind of Arsenal need to be very careful and guard against that complacency that cost Chelsea in the FA Cup final against them in 2017. The complacency Man United had against Chelsea in 2018 in the final. I feel a little complacency that City had going into the final against Man United a couple of seasons ago in the FA Cup. A little bit drunk. We beat them last year. We were struggling in the league. Coventry should have knocked us out. And City did not turn up to that final. We were excellent. Take nothing away from us. But City didn't turn up into that final with the same bit between their teeth they did 12 months earlier. And that's what Arsenal have got to guard against. Super chat here, LB. This is a question for you all. If Arsenal go through in the Champions League and City go out to Madrid, do you think City will win the Premier League due to less fixtures?
Nah, I don't think it matters, bro, if I'm being honest with you, because I don't think Arsenal play this mad intense brand of football. So it's not like the Arsenal games are basketball games. A lot of Arsenal, when I watch Arsenal, they control the opposition. You know, that's why they get called boring a lot, right? But one of the benefits is you're not up and down, up and down, up and down the whole time. You control. It's a bit more like how City used to play the treble year, for example, right? So you sort of like, you just dominate the football. And so no, I don't really think so. If it was like Klopp style football, right? And this is why Klopp, obviously, you know, his teams sometimes dropped off towards the end of the seasons because Klopp was playing this proper it was great football to watch, rock and roll football. But when you're going up and down the whole game for 90 minutes every game and you're going deep in all the competitions, you get fatigued. So nah, to be honest with you, I don't think it'll make a slight bit of difference to Arsenal.
At this moment in time, with the squad depth that we had in the preparation of the last couple of years, we should have a better understanding of how to manage the end of the season coming from the manager and the player. So yeah, I agree with you, LB. I don't think it's going to affect us too much. I think the only thing that we can look at that might have an impact is if we lose twice to them in the running. That would be a massive impact. Say we lost the in the league and in the Carabao Cup final. But outside of that, I don't think there is any other major thing that will impact the title race rather than two direct losses to them in the League Cup and in the league.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, often playing two games a week can actually keep you sharper. I think it was Bernardo Silva himself about 4 years ago that said it.
I've said this about City for years, mate. Years I've said this, Terry, that I think City are miles better when we play every 3 days. Miles better. The rhythm, it's just there, you know, game, 2 days, 3 days rest, game. I just think, you know, it's rhythm, it's momentum, and it's just better for it. It keeps players sharp, like you say. And, you know, I've said this for years. Maybe not all teams are suited to it. I don't know. You have to speak for your own clubs. But I'm telling you now, from my point of view with City, we are miles better when we play every 3 or 4 days. Miles, no question about it.
No, I don't disagree with you. I think you're right. It's one of the reasons why, again, when it comes to my club and people go, Terry, there's less training. And I think the lack of intent. I actually heard a United fan say players have had too much time off training and there's a lack of intensity in our games. We had a lack of intensity in Amorim's games and we trained more. The real reason we're struggling, and I think every manager will struggle at United, is because we're playing one game a week. It happened to Arsenal in that season that you got pipped by Spurs to the Champions League spots. This notion that, because you're playing one game a week, you're going to maintain the intensity. You fell off towards the end. And a lot of it is that. Now, Chelsea had a season where they won the league playing one game a week. But I think that it's because of that one season that everybody is sort of, it's the anomaly. It's the exception to the rule. Leicester 1 game a week. Yes, but Leicester were a team full of players that were used to 1 game a week. It's how they had played. One of the reasons I think that this season, Eze went through that sort of November to January period where he looked off the pace. His body had never, by the way, he's not a kid. His body had never played that amount of football, that level of intensity, that amount of psychological pressure in his career. And suddenly he's 27, 28, and he's playing like that. It impacts you differently. So it's one of those things. It's why when, you know, teams that are trying to progress and get better, it's why when I used to see sort of your Aston Villa-esques and those size of clubs get into the Europa League. I remember Spurs doing this a few times and their fans going, the Thursday, Sunday, the killer. Burnley? And I used to sit there. Hang on. Yeah, I used to sit and go, hang on. But if you've got genuine aspirations to be a team that challenges to win the league and wins the title and beats in the Champions League, you've got to get used to playing 2 games a week. So the Europa League should always be looked at as a great way to start developing your squad to be used to that rather than it being 1 game a week. And I think that that's where, when you're a big team and you're used to 2 games a week, dropping down to 1 game a week, I think invariably will hurt you. But that's just my personal opinion on that one. Like, share, and subscribe, please, people. Keeping it with the Champions League for a minute, LB. How do you see Chelsea getting on this week? Because they have an absolutely massive game coming up against PSG. They're going to be away in the first leg, which does give them you would say, a slight a slight advantage in relation to that. And why can I suddenly not find the fixtures? Yes, they away tomorrow against PSG. How do you see them getting on? Because it's been a weird week for them. Didn't do anything against Arsenal, but got beat. Smashed Aston Villa, so confidence is high again.
Yeah.
Then look, they should be very happy they beat Wrexham. They've got a great draw in the quarterfinal. But, Wrexham were unfortunate in terms of performance. Forget the red cards. Unfortunate to go out the way they did. How do you think Chelsea are going to go into this game prepared? Because it seems they're very up and down at the minute in terms of performances and results.
Yeah, but so PSG.
True.
It's... I'd probably say... I think I'd probably edge towards PSG in terms of the overall result across the two legs, just because they've got a better 11 than Chelsea. But if Cucurella turns up, if Reece James turns up, if Caicedo turns up and Cole Palmer turn up, they've obviously got a very good chance. João Pedro, maybe we should throw into that conversation as well. It's one of them with Chelsea. If the better players turn up on the day, they've got a very good chance of beating most teams in Europe. But they need all of the key players to turn up on the same day. Otherwise, they won't have a chance. So I'd probably edge towards PSG, but only slightly. PSG ain't the same as last year, man. I'm not sitting there saying, PSG this mint team like last year. Like they've obviously had some dodgy results over the last sort of month or so. So yeah, we'll see. It's a PSG first game, man. As long as they can keep it tight, bring it back to the bridge, not like 2-0 down or 3-0 down, then they've got a great chance of going through. My odds probably would be towards PSG, but I won't be surprised to see Chelsea go through. But like I say all the time, they need all the best players to step up. Otherwise, they ain't got a chance.
The thing is, they don't have Dembele, they don't have Fabian Ruiz, they don't have Joao Neves. Those are three big misses for PSG. But they still got all these guys, man. I'm not looking at PSG.
Players,
I'm not looking at PSG like they're, even with those three players missing, they still got Vitinha, they still got Barcola and Kvaratskhelia, Dewey.
Yeah.
Then you talked about Reece James and Cucurella. I'm pretty sure Cucurella is not 100% fit yet. Well, they still have Mendes and Hakimi. So I'm not too worried about Chelsea's attack as much as it's the midfield battle for me. How is that going to work out? Are Caicedo, Enzo, and Santos gonna show up and shut off Chelsea, shut off the whole midfield for PSG, and they can't create much, and they're gonna have to play all from the wide channels, or is there going to be central progression? Is there going to be an ability to cut open PSG through the middle? Because I don't think you're going to get at them from the wide channels with how good their fullbacks are in Mendes and Hakimi.
Yeah, no, I hear you, man. I'm excited to watch this Dro guy. I've never seen him play before, me. I think they signed him from Barcelona, didn't they? This Dro geezer. I've seen him a lot of hype about him. Apparently, he's meant to be like the next big thing. But I've never actually seen him play. I've seen highlights of him on like TikTok and shit. But I see a lot of people saying that he's meant to be like mega. So I'm excited to watch him, man. It should be a good game. It should be a good game, man. I actually, as a neutral, I kind of want it to be quite a close game, because I think if Chelsea can keep it tight going into the game at the Bridge, I think that would be a fantastic game. I mean, you think back at some of the games back in the day when Chelsea were like prime Roman back at Stamford Bridge in the Champions League. They had some fantastic ties in the Champions League back in the day. You remember the Liverpool games, remember the Barcelona game as well. So they've had some mint ties. So I think it'd be pretty cool, man, to watch Chelsea PSG.
Are better though? Don't you think PSG are just a little bit better because of that defensive capability?
I agree. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. My belief is that PSG over the two legs will nick it. But it's by no means guaranteed. Like I say, PSG don't seem to be the same PSG as last year, man. They don't seem to be as
I think they go a 1-goal lead going into the Bridge, and from there it can be anyone's game. But I just think PSG just have the know-how, the experience from last season, and this Chelsea team, as good as they are in certain areas, I just don't think they're as complete as a team as PSG are, and I just think they're gonna that's what's gonna see them through the tie. And obviously, Liam Rosina is not going to be able to out-tactic Luis Enrique.
Well, you never know. That's what it's about.
Yeah, I mean, he could. I mean, look, I find it's such an interesting one because I agree. I watched the last 5 or 6 PSG games and they don't look right. But what they have is amazing football players. And I never, they're not stinky. They're vulnerable. And they don't have the same, there doesn't seem to be the same kind of inevitability about them as last season. And I think a big part of that is Donnarumma leaving. I think they made a big mistake with Donnarumma leaving. He's the kind of goalkeeper that maybe in their 3-1 defeat against Monaco, maybe that doesn't happen because he saves 2 of those shots. He is just an abnormal shot stopper in that regard. And I think it's one of the biggest mistakes they made in terms of allowing him to move on. Equally, I don't think City are in the title race without Donnarumma this year. I think he's been an absolute difference maker. Definitely better than Rob Sanchez, just putting it out there. And I still can't believe that debate happened, to be honest with you. But I'm backing Chelsea over the 2 legs. I do agree that PSG are the better team. But I've just got a feeling Chelsea are going to narrowly beat them over the 2 legs. I think tomorrow night is going to be 2-2 on the score sheet. But I think it's going to be one of those games. I'll just mention Rob Sanchez. I think he might have a good game where PSG maybe should be 3 or 4 goals in, but they won't be. And I think you're going to see Chelsea with a couple of counter-attack goals, that pace of Neto and co. And Palmer. You know how they scored against Barcelona, Bayern Munich earlier on in the season? I think it could be very similar to that. And I'm going to go over a narrow win for Chelsea, but I think 2-2 in the first leg. I'm going
it's
for.
Certainly not. It's not like, bro. You know, I'm normally cooking Chelsea, innit? I'm always normally cooking Chelsea, but I don't think it's a daft shout to say that Chelsea could go through. I think they've got a chance. I'm kind of like, I don't know if you can pull that comment up by Andy in the chat, Terry. This is kind of where I'm at, man. Like, I kind of feel like even Chelsea fans say this as well. They've not got the strongest defense about. The 2 centre backs and that are not top tier. Egal just mentioned as well that Cucurella might not be, well, he's fit, but he might not be fully match fit. Obviously, he's only just come back from injury. Like, can the Chelsea defense stop that PSG attack? I guess it's what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
Maybe they need a little bit of fortune. Maybe they need Doué, Kvaratskhelia, these kind of players, maybe not to be fully at the races and miss easy chances. And yeah, well, I'm not expecting even though I think PSG will go through, I'm not expecting it to be like 4-0, 3-0. I'm expecting it to be very close.
Yeah, but I mean, I also want, I'm manifesting a little bit as well, because as much as I said earlier, I think 2 games a week is better for the very top teams. I don't quite put Chelsea in that same category as Arsenal's and Man City's and the likes that are challenging for the league titles. And because when they rotate, we've seen the difference in their squad, and I'm hoping they have to rotate for a few league games. And
I'm going to take on Liverpool. I think Galatasaray beat Liverpool.
What, tonight?
No, yeah, I think they win the tie.
Ooh.
Not tonight. I think they win the tie.
Unpack that.
I just think they got a very good finisher in Victor Osimhen, and what they've been able to do versus Juventus and what they did against them earlier in the season. If they can make it a game where they play the long balls into space, they get the ball high up the pitch without having to play through the middle, it could be a situation where you see Liverpool have a tough physical battle and end up losing that physical battle.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. Again, Liverpool are not the best team in the world right now, are they? So we'll see. Well, I mean, the thing is, right, I always think that, like, when you get to this level of the Champions League, I feel like you kind of got to respect whoever's in it, right? You know what I mean? Like, you've made it through 8 games of a league phase. You've made it. Some teams have then made it through a knockout round. Like, if you're in the last 16 of the Champions League, you're obviously a good team. So you need to respect everybody that's in this at this level. You know, Arsenal have got Leverkusen in it. Like, respect them. Galatasaray, like, they're not here because they're crap. They're here because they're a good side. So, again, Osimhen is in great form right now. I think he scored like 6 goals in his last 5 games or something. So that guy's in form. And, you know, it's a big game. He'll want to prove. He'll know that everyone's watching. He probably, Chelsea were linked with him in the summer. They decided not to go for him because of the wages. He'll want to show everybody who's watching the game tonight that he should be at the Premier League or should be at a top team across Europe and sort of prove everybody wrong. So, yeah, I'm going to watch a game, man. I'm looking forward to it. I think we've got some really good games, man. You know, the Newcastle Barcelona game as well. Looking forward to that one. Yeah, I think we've got some really good games in this Champions League. Spurs as well somehow are in the Champions League. Don't know how that one's happened.
You know that was a weird thing. That was a weird thing. Did you see what Simeone came out and said? He said, "No, Spurs are the favorites. We're not the favorites. We finished where we finished in the Champions League. They finished in the top 8."
He's
So you
proper
can't call us
falling off,
favorites.
Simeone.
Trying to
Man.
play
I don't know what's
underdog.
happened to this guy, mate. Yeah, I don't know why he's still at the club. Apparently, he's the most paid player, highest paid manager in world football. You see that?
Yeah, I seen that.
Apparently so.
Won him.
I don't understand why. When was the last time he won a trophy? Has he won out recently, or Copa del Rey or something?
It's been a while. There was a kind of graphic that came out recently. Very few trophies in the last. Excuse me, gentlemen. Sorry. In the last, kids up a bit early. The last 7 or 8 years. Very, very, very few trophies to earn what he does. I get that they are much poorer than Real Madrid and Barcelona. But yeah,
it's an Arsene Wenger situation. They just respect him so much they don't want to let him go.
Yeah, a little bit of that. Part of me with him now is thinking, why don't you try something else? Like part of me almost maybe is underrating him a little bit because I want to see whether you can like go to a Man United, join a Man United who need a little bit of rebuilding. They'll pay you the money. Can you make Man United one of the best teams in the world? Like, can you do? I'm so intrigued. Like, I know Sir Alex stayed a long time at Man United, but let's not ignore what he did at Aberdeen before he joined. And he actually, you get where I'm coming from. So it's not like he hadn't done it elsewhere. I sort of, with something about Simeone, I go through some periods where I really rate him and go, he's great. And then I go through other periods where I go, oh, I've got an ick. He gives me an ick. I get like some sort of footballing ick with him, and I can't quite put my finger on it.
Is he like Emery? He kind of plays the underdog.
I don't know. No, he's what? No. He's what? Maybe. I mean, he's won league titles when they weren't meant to. He's got to those Champions League finals. I think he's a level above Unai Emery. Unai Emery, again, a lot of people rate him. I mean, there's talked about that Real Madrid might.
Klopp's going to Real Madrid. Let's be honest.
I think if Villa bottled this Champions League, I think there needs to be a new conversation about Emery, man, because you can't be bottling the Champions League in this position.
Thank you. I've been saying it.
Do you know what I'll say about Unai Emery, right? I think Unai Emery only gets the level of praise that he has because people have liked to use him as a bit of a tool to beat Arteta with. I think there's been a little bit of that. Like the level of praise he's got. Listen, he's done some good. Look, what he did in Spain, the cups that he won, he's done some good things. But I don't think we can rewrite history with how he did at Arsenal, how he did at PSG, and what was actually being said about him at the time and the problems there, the one-horse race issues. But it was last year. Was that kind of it was a straw that broke the camel's back for me, doing so well in that PSG game, so well, and took off the one man that was making it happen in Rashford. And the game died. And I remember they were playing you in the league last season, quite late in the campaign, LB, and they were better than you, and it was going really well. And then he made substitutions, and you came back into the game. But he took players off that were playing really well. And I watched it, and you won. I think you won with basically the last kick of the game in that match. And I'm watching it, thinking, why has Unai Emery done this to himself again? And it's something about Emery. I think he's a good manager. He should be managing in the Prem, La Liga. He's at level, but he's not Real Madrid, Man City, Arsenal, Liverpool. He's not that. He ain't that level.
Underdog,
he ain't that level.
He's a plucky underdog, and when the pressure gets tough, he kind of falters. And people make it seem like, they weren't supposed to be there in the first place. He loves no pressure being on him. The moment that he had the pressure of Arsenal, PSG, even with this team right now that he's at Aston Villa, you see the moment that there's a level of pressure, he tries to take it down and say, you know what, I'm just happy to be where I am. And he's almost accepting the states that he's at. And you know something? He's a sore loser that people don't talk about. He don't shake people's hands when their team loses. He does a lot of things that is like indicative of a sore loser, and people don't criticize him because it's Aston Villa, because it's Villarreal, because this is these teams that it's like they're not in the spotlight. But if he ever managed at a Chelsea or Man United, he'd get eaten alive by the media if he went to another big job.
Roy here says, if Simeone is a failure, Emery is too. Now, I'm not saying Simeone is a failure. Again, I'm not going down that road. I want to see him test himself. The one thing I would give Unai Emery is that he's broadened his horizons and gone elsewhere. And I would love to see whether Diego Simeone could go to another top team and deliver. What would he be like with? Because the one thing I would say again with Atletico is a lot of the big money they've spent hasn't always necessarily worked out as well. How much say did he have in those? Was it other people? I would just like to see him outside of his comfort zone to see what he can deliver. I'm intrigued by it. I truly am intrigued by it. Obviously, you predicted that result there. How about Arsenal? How do you think Arsenal are going to get on against Bayer Leverkusen?
I think it's going to be close, close in like the first half, and then second half we close it out with like two quick goals. I personally think we're just too physical and like better defensively than Leverkusen. I don't know how we're gonna see how the game is gonna be, how difficult it's gonna be at their ground. So I think it's gonna be a little bit closer, but I don't expect to concede, and I expect to close out the game second half. So I'm gonna go with like a 2-0 Arsenal victory. The first team is going to be pretty much ready to go. Majority of the first team players are going to be ready to go, and having a whole game off in the FA Cup, in the FA Cup, and having majority of the first team players off, I think they're going to be ready to go for this game, and we're going to take it to them. I want to kill off the tie, but I don't know if we're going to kill off the tie. Probably just go with the 2-0 Arsenal victory and bring it home to the Emirates and close it out from there.
Yeah, I don't think you'll kill it off either. Yeah, I'm thinking maybe like a 2-0, 2-1. You know, 2-0, maybe you could make a couple changes then in the second leg, but you can't go full ham, can you?
You played them. How did they do against you?
Yeah, but it's not the same. Pep rotated the whole 11.
Yes.
But like I'm telling you, when he put on the better players in the last 20 minutes, we cooked him. Yeah, if he would have done that the whole game, we would have beat him. But he rotated the full starting 11 that day. I don't know. I have no idea why he did it, but yeah, I don't even think they played well, bro. Even though we had a brand new 11 on the pitch, I still don't think they played well. So I think Arsenal beat them. I'd be surprised if you batter them, like. But 2-0,
we played them a couple years ago. And we beat them by like a decent margin at the Emirates. So I'm not worried about the game at the Emirates. It would be nice if you could kill off the tie over in Germany, but I don't know if that's going to happen.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if you kill it off. But like I say, if you get a 2-0 win, it probably allows Arteta to make a few changes in the second leg. Nothing stupid like that. But
this comment here from Tony says the Bundesliga teams leave so much space in between their defense and the line and keep it. It has Gyökeres 2 goals written all over it. I don't know if he'll kill it off. I think I almost feel disrespectful saying that about Leverkusen. However, the German teams do like to attack. They do leave space in behind. I think you might have the opportunity to kill it off. Yeah. If you can keep the clean sheet you mentioned, because they are going to attack. And that's why this is going to be such a... I think a lot of people have looked at this on paper and gone, oh, Arsenal are through. It's a nothing game. I think could be a great spectacle. I think that Bayer Leverkusen are going to attack, which means there's going to be space for Arsenal. If Arsenal can be defensively resolute, as they've been so far this Champions League campaign, and be clinical when they attack because there's space, it could be a game you kill off in the first leg. Because I think if you win by more than a 2-goal margin, I think it's over. I just don't see them coming to the Emirates. Then what you're able to do, and that's the most perfect thing for you, is maybe Saka, maybe Rice, maybe one of your centre backs, maybe Timber. They start on the bench for that game.
I think you could do that. 2-0.
I got a stat.
I think a 2-0 they could do that
for you. Sorry, guys. I got this stat. I wanted to show you guys this stat. If you could put it on full screen, if you could see this stat, can you see it?
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah, I
can
see it.
The odds of Arsenal winning a quad is actually higher than Arsenal's odds of winning 0 trophies this year. So I'm sitting here very comfortable right now. I'm looking at Arsenal. I'm saying, you know what? We're gonna do multiple.
I feel like that was a clippable moment. You know.
Look at that. Our odds of winning 3 trophies higher than 1. Like, I'm not too worried at this point.
I feel like this is prime. Like
at this point of the season, we just got to take it game by game. But all the people who are sitting here saying, Egal, you're delusional, Arsenal, you're delusional. This season, I'm expecting minimum 2 trophies.
No, I agree with you. I think if Arsenal don't win 2 trophies, I think they'll be disappointed. Yeah. Now, obviously, if they win the Prem and nothing else, right, they'll obviously be buzzing and they're not going to be disappointed. But like deep down, I think if I'm an Arsenal fan now, I'm thinking minimum 2 trophies.
Yeah,
minimum.
and with those trophies, the thing is, everyone keeps saying, "Oh, people were saying you're gonna lose to City, you're gonna lose the League Cup, you're gonna lose this, you're gonna lose that." We're the favorites to win the Champions League. We're already the favorites to win the Premier League, odds-on favorite. We're in a cup final with Man City. That's 50% chance either way. And in the FA Cup, people saying we're getting good draws. So I'm sitting here. I'm not saying 100% we're gonna do a quad or anything, but I do think at this point of the season where we're just saying, you know what, we keep going game by game and we'll see where we are at the end of the season. The players and the fans, we're all looking at this and we're like, you know, we could do something special.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
How many trophies do you truly think and which ones? So from this point onwards, how many do you truly believe you're going to win and which ones will they be?
I think if I had to put my money on it, I would say 2, guarantee that I think we can come out with a double of a League Cup league double. But we're only a couple games away from the FA Cup final. If we win 3 games, we could win the FA Cup. And the one that I would say right now is the hardest would be the Champions League. So say, hypothetically speaking, come the end of the season, I have to see Terry in a month's time. But really coming out of this season, Gary, I think we can come out of it easily with 2 and 3 max. I don't know if a quad's realistic. I'm not going to sit here and say 100% we're going to get a quad, but I do think we get 2 trophies come the end of the season. And that's going to be the League Cup and the league. And if we win a third, it's probably going to be the FA Cup. So we can do a domestic treble.
It's interesting because I've always thought you're more suited to the Champions League than the Premier League this season.
I know, but we've never won it before. I'm not going to sit here and say guarantee we're going to win it because I'm not going to disrespect Barcelona or Bayern or whoever else is going to be in the draw.
I get what you're saying, but like
I think if we get Chelsea, if we beat Southampton and we get Chelsea, we're pretty much in an FA Cup final.
No, I get you. I just feel like, yeah, I think Arsenal need to lock in, man, because I've always felt that Arsenal this season, the way they play football, is more suited to the Champions League. Extremely good defense. They can go away to tough grounds. I know they're at the Emirates first, aren't they? In the first legs, or is it the second leg you're at home? No, it's second leg you're at home, right? Yeah. So you can go away in the first leg up until the semi-final, get a 0-0, get a 1-1, maybe nick a 1-0, and then come back. Like you, because your defense is high level, you can do that. So I've always felt like Arsenal are more suited to the Champions League than the league, because the league is more sort of like, you got to win, and I felt that Arsenal would drop more points on draws this season. So, like I say, man, Arsenal should be winning minimum 2 trophies from this position. They should be.
Bro, I think there's a better chance of us winning 2 trophies than there is 0, obviously. So I'm not too worried about that. 100%. I think there's a better chance of us winning 3 trophies than there is 1. I really do believe it. And it just comes down to what we see.
Hang on. So why is there more chance of a treble than with just 1 trophy?
Because
maybe not the treble, because there's only 1 treble, but like what makes you think that winning the league, the FA Cup, and the League Cup is more likely than just the League Cup?
Because of the situation we find ourselves in right now, where we're going to be facing Southampton, we're going to be far in the FA Cup. We have a favorable draw in the Champions League. So. And I already think we're favorites to win 2 trophies in the league and the League Cup. So say we do win those 2, picking up a third, it's not out of the realm of possibility where for us to lose the League Cup or the league, one of them, yes, it's a 50-50 shot, but then also not win a FA Cup and or a Champions League on top. I think you're asking for a little bit of a capitulation come the end of the season if we were to not at least come out with 2 or 3 out of the season.
I understand where you're coming from, but I want to explain this to someone who's won 1 and come very close to winning a couple more trebles. They're very hard to do, and what I mean by that is, I'm not someone that's calling you out for the draws you've had. The draws are some draws. There's always luck involved in draws. Always an element of luck. Even though you deserve to have your second legs at home in the Champions League, you could have been on the other side of the draw. There's nothing you did that influenced that. You could have drawn City away or Liverpool away or Chelsea away in the next round of the FA Cup, and it could have been City that were at home to Port Vale or City that went away to Southampton. That you can't quite control. And But you ride that. Sometimes you get a little bit of fortune in that regard. Sometimes you don't. And even in Man United's treble winning season, there would have been either results or refereeing decisions or draws. I mean, in fairness, the draws we had that fucking year were actually mad, right? We're actually mad in relation to who we actually played. I think we played Middlesbrough, Liverpool, Fulham, Chelsea, then Arsenal, and then Newcastle in the final that year. But you'll always get your moments, right? It's never a less of a treble. It's never because of the draw, right? But what you will find, all that being said, when you get through this round, it's very likely you're going to have a hard team in that semi-final. And what I mean by that is that semi-final was going to be at crunch time in the league, and as you're going towards semi-finals in the Champions League, and it's the rotation element, and it's so hard to predict because there are going to be games where you have to play a weaker team. There's going to be a game coming up where you going to have to start a midfielder or two or an attacker or two that you wouldn't normally in that magnitude of a game, but you're fighting on all four fronts. It changes. We've never been here either, by the way. There's never, ever been a season in the history of the Premier League where there's two teams in the Carabao Cup final who both have the capability of winning the quad. It's actually unprecedented water. So I don't agree with you that it's more likely you win 3 trophies than win just one. I don't necessarily agree because I think winning a treble, winning the treble is the hardest thing ever done in English football. The quad would supersede that, but winning any combination of 3 trophies is so hard because barely any team in 140 years has done that, and it's such a difficult thing to do. You've got a chance, of course. You've got a very, very good chance, and I think you have had a little bit of lady luck fall on your side with these draws. But that being said, you could soon have a Barcelona in the semi-finals of the Champions League. You could have Man City in the semi-finals of the FA Cup with a potential final against Liverpool or Chelsea. The Premier League running is also going to be very, very hard. Your final could be against Bayern Munich, Liverpool, or Man City. That makes the odds really hard. And then we got to add up. It's not, and I don't know what that probability thing is, but it's the probability versus the odds. So
I'll send it to you, Terry. But unfortunately, I'm gonna have to go. Respect for having you guys. I'll catch you on the next one. Love.
Cheers, mate. Yeah, he's had some family stuff came up for him. Oh, I don't like that one. Let's do this one. There we go. It's a little bit better. Let me put the overlay on though, because that looks weird without the overlay. There we go. Yeah, I don't know ULB. I feel like it's not even disrespectful towards Arsenal. I just think Arsenal have never done it. This is a respect to Arsenal fans. It's so difficult, and to say we've got more chance of winning 3 or doing a treble than only winning 1, it doesn't make sense because that means winning the treble is easier.
Let's be honest,
than winning one trophy.
Terry, yeah. I remember you remember how it felt because I felt the same thing. Every game that you play ramps up the pressure and ramps up the talk, which then ramps up the pressure for the next game and ramps up the talk. And before you know it, every game, everyone's talking about the quad and you almost forget about the game that you're playing. Your mind sort of drifts off to there. So, yeah, Arsenal just need to win a trophy, first of all, because they've not won anything for 6 years. However, they are in a very good position right now to win multiple trophies. But with that, like I say, with every game that they win, that talk about trebles, doubles, and quads will ramp up, and that ramps up the pressure. And this team has been known in the past to bottle stuff, and that's something that they're going to have to get over. I'm pretty concerned personally. Sitting out here from a City point, I'm pretty concerned that they could do something mad. We'll see. We'll see what's going to happen, man. But they've got a great opportunity of winning multiple trophies. That's for sure.
No, I agree. I was looking at the odds on this that the bookmakers have gone with, and they are 1 to 40 on to win a major trophy. So you'd have to bet £40 to win.
It would be an absolute. He'd have to be sacked, right? That's basically. If they don't win a trophy for me, he's got to get fired. So because we all believe he's going to finally win something now this season. So yeah, I agree. 1 to 40 seems like they're going to win something. Then what we got?
So yeah, let's have a look at this here, right? So they're odds-on favourites to win. So yeah, let's have a little look here. Actually, that only showing the odds of winning multiple trophies. Let's have odds on winning the league. So let's have a little look at this here. So odds on them winning the league, they are 5. They're 1 to 5 on to do that at the moment, right? So what is the probability as an odd on Arsenal winning these 3 trophies based on the odds, right? So I'm going to do this: 5-1 to win the EPL. Because probability, I'm not a mathematician, but probability and odds are different, and I don't know what Egal's using, and it might be absolutely accurate. But I just want to odds on them winning the League Cup must just be about 50. That must just be like a 50-50 on odds on the Carabao Cup. So Arsenal are 19 to 20. Yeah, I mean it's basically almost 2-1, but slight favourites on that. 9 to 20 to win the EFL Cup, and let's do the Champions League as the third one as opposed to the FA Cup. Odds on winning the UCL, I think they're down as the favourites with the UK bookmakers, but their chances on that 5-2, a little bit, obviously a lot wider, and 5-2 to win the UCL. So let's just see what this comes back with in this calculation, because I'm intrigued to know.
Mm-hmm.
Let's have a little look here. Oh, so it says they've got an 83% chance of winning, according to the bookmakers, of winning the league, 42% chance of winning the EFL Cup, and a 28% chance of winning the Champions League. Jesus Christ, the probability. See, look, yeah, the probability of all 3 happening is 9-1. So this is what I mean. It doesn't make. I don't know where. I'll have to again. He's right that there is more. The odds are more favourable towards winning a trophy than winning no trophy. And in fact, winning those 3 trophies is 9-1, where winning none is 1-40 on. So it is more likely, according to the bookmakers. But the thing is, when you add all 3 together, it goes to 9-1. You know, it goes to 9-1, and it changes. I mean, that's decent odds, by the way. If you actually fancy that, that means you put £1 on, you win 9 back. Which is, so that part isn't right. But the idea that it's easier to win 1 than it is to win 3, the odds say the complete opposite. Does that make sense? The odds say the complete opposite.
It's not easier to win 3 than 1. That's nonsense. Of course it's not. See, you know what I mean? That don't make no sense. You know what I mean? You win 1, you've won 1. It's not easier to win 3 than 1.
No.
But yeah, listen, let's have a look. I mean, the thing is, yeah, like Arsenal are in this position now. The pressure's on. They'll probably be talking about it in training. They'll be talking about it. And that's when sometimes, you know, your mind can drift. You start, you know, forgetting about just doing your job. So we'll see. But as a City fan, I'm a little bit worried. I can't lie. But I can help stop this all happening. I agree. Final.
Now, I'm not a mathematician. You just know things. So this is the point, right? So they're down as having a 97% chance of winning a trophy this season. So this is where if you're going to say what Egal's saying, and I'm not saying this is all the Arsenal fans tuning in, but if you're going to say what Egal's saying, you have to accept that if Arteta and this Arsenal team fall into that 3% or that 2.5% and win nothing, major conversations have got to take place. But there is a 97% chance of winning 1 trophy at this point, but there is only a 10% chance of winning 3. So therefore, the idea that winning 1 is less likely than winning 3 doesn't make sense. You go from a 97% to 10% chance. And I want to throw this out there to everybody. What would you, if I gave you now and said, right, walk down road A and you've got a 97% chance of being alive at the end of it, or walk down road B where there's a 10% chance of survival. If any of you take road B, you're mad. So no, it didn't make sense, even on an odds level, but I'm not a mathematician. So I wanted to look at the probability of it, because the probability is an event times an event, like plus an event. I don't know the calculation. It's there. And then, as you said, and that's why the odds go up, because it's the psychological element of it, where at the minute it's, Arsenal probably going to win a trophy. And that's in the dressing room. You start winning 1, you start winning 2, that build up. Whenever I watch the 99 documentary back, the bit that I feel still, you can feel the pressure in the bit. You can see it on the players' faces. The media talk, it brings back all those memories. And that was without social media, LB. You guys did it in the social media era, which adds another layer to this. Look, they pull it off. It's amazing. I mean, if we were to add, though, I want to add into this. Right? The odds on winning the FA Cup as well. Because we might as well do it for all of them just to see what that comes out as on this calculator. Again, this is just a calculator online. So Arsenal are the best odds here are 9-4 on winning the FA Cup. So they are the favourites for the FA Cup as well, which is crazy, right? So, well, not crazy. I do understand it. So let me just find the calculator here. And unfortunately, to win the FA Cup. So let's do it again, right? Let's do this again. So it's going to put this through. So it's interesting. They're the favourites to win all the trophies, but when you add it all together, then winning all of them, they become less than the favourites, if that makes sense. So if they were to put this in, so to win all of them, there's a 3% chance. So this is what's crazy. So the idea of winning 3 or more is more likely than winning none. You go from a 97% chance of winning something to only a 3% chance of winning all 3. Which, of course, it's the opposite. I'm so stupid. I'm not at school. Of course, winning all 4 is the opposite number to winning none, isn't it? It's going to be it's the 3%. And there's probably a few really smart people watching this going, look at those 2 mongs. Look at those 2 idiots. I didn't realize that. It's because I'm not a mathematician and I haven't done algebra or maths since I left school at 16. But that makes obvious sense, doesn't it? If you've got a 3% chance of winning all 4 based on the odds, then you have to have a 97% chance of winning one of them. Makes complete sense, actually, when I see it all laid out in front of me. Thank you to this calculator online. I would actually recommend the website if they were paying me an endorsement fee, but they're not, so fuck them. I'm going to keep that one to myself. But yeah, it's great. Yeah, Egal. The Tevin here says you're mixing up what he said. Are we? Are we mixing up what Egal said?
I thought that's what he said, but if that's not what he said, he didn't say it. I thought that's what he said, man.
Yeah, Tevin, like what are we mixing up? Because I am pretty sure Terry is slow. Yeah, I am, bruv. I am on that. I'm not going to sit here and lie. Right. What I am saying is I don't understand what we're missing. Egal literally said, Tevin, that there is more chance they win 3 trophies and win none. Did he not say that?
That's what I thought he said, man. Well, unless we misunderstood what he said, but I thought that's what he said. I thought he said there's more chance that he'll win 3 than 1.
Yeah.
That's not what he said. That's not what he said. He can defend himself in the comments.
Jones here says Terry involved in banking. Yeah, I wasn't a statistician. I wasn't doing all that stuff. My job was to take the facts and sell them to people.
He was a cleaner at the bank. That's what he did.
Yeah,
bro.
Yeah. I was the janitor, bro. I was the janitor. Yeah, I didn't do the fractions, but yeah, again, fractions and all of that. That's not my forte. It makes a lot of sense. Well, it makes a lot of sense now, but I wouldn't have ever assumed that. It's the remaining 3% that you get. That's exactly what he said. Yeah, I thought that's what he said. But that's just me. I was intrigued to know. Sim Superchats here, bro. How much is City going to beat Real Madrid by?
Over the 2 legs, I reckon 3 goals.
I think it's fair. I'm going with 2-0 in Madrid, by the way. I'm going with 2-0 in Madrid. No pressure being applied or anything. I genuinely mean it. You don't win a treble. The team you support did. Why do football fans try and make other men's achievements like they did anything?
Yeah, because that's what we were doing.
Is that? Hang on. Before you were in Nick, I thought you were in prison right now, Joey Barton. Because that's what Joey Barton said, didn't he? When he was having a pop at Big Steve, over Big Steve having the trophy there.
Yeah, he's just been done on these.
He's had a fight at a golf course, been done for assault,
according
to reports, allegedly. Innocent till proven guilty and all that. But yeah, listen, the fans do play a part. The football fans play a fundamentally important part in their teams winning. And yes, you should celebrate it. And yes, it's an us. Yes, it's a we. 110%. Because if football fans walked away tomorrow, the sport disappears. We're an important and we're an integral part of this game. I love how this narrative has been created. Because I know how Joey Barton does it. Joey Barton will go on to chat GTP and go, this is what football fans do, create an argument to make it sound pathetic and stupid, and it'll just write one and then he'll just pass it off as his own opinion. Crazy. Love seeing City fans being so smug and so petulant at the same time in his Sunday market cheap merch.
Whoa. What's going on here, mate? Why is this guy getting rattled so much, bro?
I know.
Have I even said anything today that's been mad? I feel like I've been pretty chill today.
I know it's a bit crazy. I mean, it doesn't matter that LB buys his clothes on the
what
market.
Have I been small or petulant about? Have I not? I honestly swear down. I feel like I've been like not even said anything wild today. How is he getting rattled by something that I've not even said's mad? I've not cooked Chelsea. I've not cooked Arsenal. Have I cooked anyone?
No.
I was normal about the United thing at the start. I've not even cooked anyone, and he's still getting rattled. How's he getting rattled by that? He's getting rattled by a hoodie. This guy's getting rattled by a hoodie, mate. I'm wearing a hoodie and he's getting rattled. How's he getting rattled by a hoodie, bro?
Rattled by a hoodie and rattled by football fans celebrating their team winning.
He sent a tenner in on two super chats because he's rattled about a hoodie. Fair play, man. Listen, if you got the cash to get rattled about a hoodie, then fair play, innit? Respect.
Sorry, this year says it's because you said it's a 97% chance they win at least one, so it's a 3% chance they don't win anything. This is fair. I just didn't know what the percentage on the odds are because I don't know odds that way because that's not my thing. So when you said it's a 10% chance Arsenal win 3, that makes it more likely to win 3 than to not win 1.
Bro, I can't lie, all these numbers are doing.
So let me work that out. So there's a 97% chance that you don't win anything, and a 10% chance you do. Oh, see, no, okay. So maybe I get where Egal's coming from. If you're saying that, sorry, I do understand what you're saying now. I do understand what you're saying. That's why my eyes are closing because I'm recomputing it in my head. So essentially, it is more likely. No, but he didn't say win nothing. He said it's more like. I swear he said it's more likely we win 1 than win 3 of them. And no, the chances of winning 3 is a smaller odd than winning 1. I get I do get you. I do get where you're coming. I do get where you're coming from the odds. His point of winning originally said it's more chance of them winning 3 than winning none. That makes sense. But I swear he had changed what he said and said winning 3 versus winning 1. I swear I heard him say that. So maybe I lost him a little bit because he said multiple things. But I hear what you're saying. It is more likely on the odds that Arsenal will win a treble this year than it is they win no trophies. That is, but then what's crazy about that is that means winning nothing is, you got to remember what you're setting up here. You're setting yourselves up a little bit here, boys. I hear what you're saying now, but I do think he changed what he said. But there we, or is it the other way around? You're 97% chance. No. It's a 97% chance they do win something, not a 97% chance they don't. Not a 97% chance they don't win something. It was a 97% chance they do win a trophy. So how can 97% chance that they do win a trophy be smaller odds than winning 3? But the chances of winning nothing is at 3%. No, the treble is. I'm so confused. I'm done. So winning the quad is at 3%, right? Winning nothing is at what then? Because we didn't even do those odds. We didn't do an odd for winning nothing. We just said that there's a 97% chance they do win a trophy. What are the odds on them winning nothing? Let me go and find out. I don't know now. Because 97%, that wasn't what we read out, was it? What we read out was a 97% chance that they win something. Maybe I am getting confused now. 3% chance they win nothing. 10% chance they win 3.
I might have
it's a 3% chance they win the quadruple. What are we doing here?
Bro, this is wild. I can't lie.
It was a 3% chance they win the quadruple. I don't get what we're doing. I'm getting confused.
I don't get what we're doing at all.
Also, we're not experts on fractions. I'm just reading out to you what it said on the betting sites. If there's a 97% chance they win a trophy, okay, which is fair, but only a 10% chance they win 3, how can winning 1, which they've said is at 97% certainty, how can that be a smaller odd than 10%?
I might have to change the conversation here because this.
Yeah, me too.
How about what happens to Arteta? Yeah, if they don't win a single trophy this year, yeah, what happens to him? Is he getting fired or what? Are we getting Arteta out? We got to change the convo, man. All these numbers, chat. Yeah, it's not computing in my head. There, let's talk about something else.
Fans, it's fun. Most people think we're odds on to favourites to bottle. Odds may say different. One has to be wrong, going to be fun and stressful. Yeah, that's part of it, my friend. I absolutely agree. Love seeing. Oh, sorry, already done that with super chat. There, can you do maths on transfer fee spend versus trophies won? Not right now. I ain't got the brain space for it, mate. Egal used the wrong language. The percentages don't take into fact of momentum from winning a trophy too, by the way, or the other way, Tony. Or we reached the top. Oh, we've got over the line and you take your foot off the gas. There's so many factors you can play into that. I agree. I still think Egal is wrong. Look at this, by the way. Two bald, handsome fellas on straight facts. I'm not bald, bruv. I was. No disrespect. I'm just not bald. Awful, maybe. I don't agree, but he's saying there's a 97% chance of us winning at least one trophy, including a chance of 2 to 4 being higher than winning nothing. I do agree that according to the odds right now, the chance of winning nothing is less likely than winning 3 trophies. That is true. But the chance of winning 1 trophy is more likely than winning 3. I think we work that out. And it all depends. It all depends on what trophy. So, but look, I think if that we're getting into odds and maths on this, but maths doesn't factor in the human factor in every single part of this. And I was just reading out what the stats were saying. I'm not an expert, never claimed to be. Before the end of the show, I wanted to ask you actually, big talk this week, the Arsenal leading the race to sign Tonali. Manchester United are interested in Tonali. I know that City have had a long-standing interest in Livramento and also in Bruno G. These are I don't think we need to sit here and debate whether or not these are good deals for Arsenal, good deals for Man United. I think we both just can quite quickly say they'd improve our squads and make us better. But what do you think this says about Newcastle's project? If Arsenal are leading the race for Tonali, Livramento looks like he's going to go to Man. Because I feel like I don't know about you. I don't want to be disrespectful. I feel like Livramento to City feels like a dot on the cards.
Well, I think it would have happened last summer, if Isak didn't go to Liverpool. That was all the talk. City was in for a right back. I think Newcastle just said we can't sell Isak and Tino in the same summer. Yeah, I'd be a little bit concerned, man. If I was a Newcastle fan, it kind of feels like it's stalling a little bit. You know, they won the cup, they qualified for Champions League, they had a terrible summer. In terms of transfers, and it just kind of feels like it's stalling a little bit. Tino's got 2 years left on his contract. He's still not signed a new deal. Yeah, like you say, it looks like he might be on the way to City in the summer. Tonali, there's been a lot of talks about he's had enough. He wants to leave. Bruno, I know Bruno loves Newcastle, man. I've seen the videos of him, like, you know, not even at games. I've seen him like put Instagram videos of him like with his kids singing the Newcastle song. I know he loves Newcastle. However, he's in his prime, 28 years old. I think he's a wonderful footballer. I think he's absolutely incredible. I think he's perfectly suited to modern day football as well. He's good on the ball, but he's got that tenacity about him. I actually think he's a lot better than Tonali as well, personally. Again, 28 in his prime. If he wants to win Champions League or Premier League, or any other major, maybe if he wants to leave England, it's probably now or never. So it kind of feels like they might be getting a few knock at the doors this summer from those players. I don't think Tino Livramento actually would be a big miss to him. You know, I've seen Newcastle fans say that Lewis Miley guy's been just as good, if not better than him at right back. I don't think losing a right back is anything to really worry about, but losing the heart of your team, losing the heart of your midfield, that would be tough. On top of that, this Voltmada thing, it's not really worked. You know, they've been playing him sort of like attacking midfielder. I just feel like it's stalling, man. I feel like it's stalling. You know, when they should never have signed like a Langer, bro. I always say, right, if you sign players that keep you at your same level, you go backwards, bro. They spent 50 million quid on Elanga and 60 million quid on Visser. And by the way, Visser had 1 year left on his deal. Terrible signings, man. That's 110 million on Elanga and Visser. It's shocking. Like, they need to be going out into the market and hitting the market hard. What City did when we got bought, yeah? We spent the money and paid big wages. Now, I don't want to hear this thing about, oh, well, we can't do that because of PSR. You spent 110 million quid on 2 crap players. This is the same thing that Chelsea did. Yeah, instead of signing Garnacho and Gittins, just go and get one elite level baller for 80 million. But no, you'd rather get 2 players at 100 million plus. It were rubbish. And Elanga's not good enough for Newcastle. He's just not good enough. Now, could he be a squad rotator? Cool, but they're trying to get into the Champions League. Yeah, and I feel like if Tonali knocks on the door and Bruno G, they're the two. Tino can leave. That ain't gonna affect him, I don't think. If Bruno G and Tonali leave that football club, I don't know where they go from there, man. I think the whole project's stalled. Yeah, so I don't know, man. I feel like this summer's big. They've got to get the checkbook out and start spending cash heavy, man.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think that if they lose those couple of players, they are going to get good money, but I don't know what it says about their projects. I don't know. I'm not making a full claim on it right now, but it would worry me that I know they can't spend like other clubs, but it's the falling out of the Champions League. And I think that's the big issue. And I think it's the players, as we say, are going into their mid-20s going, do I stay for another 3 or 4 years and we're still a yo-yo team with Champions League qualification? Are we near a title race? And do I waste? And I know Newcastle fans won't like the word waste, but do I waste my career here helping them build for the next generation that maybe get the success that I'm going to miss out on in my career? It's hard because they're not like fans. They don't love clubs like fans do, even though they might sing the songs. They typically don't. But their careers are 10 to 15 years and then it's done. There is no going back.
People don't realise that, Terry, man. I say it all the time, bro. I say this all the time. I say football's such a short career. And by the way, a lot of these players are done by the time they get to 26, 27 nowadays. Do you know what I mean? So, like, yeah, if you're Tonali, who can walk into pretty much any squad in the world, Bruno G, he can walk into pretty much any starting 11 in the world, maybe by a couple. Like, Bruno G's 28. He walks in the City team. I think he gets in the Arsenal team. I think he gets in pretty much any team. So, if he's there and he's got 2 years left on a contract, he's 28. I mean, again, when you get down to 2 years left on a contract as well, Terry, the power starts to shift to the player, not the club. Because all of a sudden, the clubs are looking at the value going, oh, this guy could leave in a free in a couple of years. So, Tino's got 2 years left on his contract. And Bruno G's got 2 years left on his contract.
Yeah, no, I hear
you. I don't know
you.
what Tonali's got. I don't know how many Tonali's got. I don't know what he's on.
No, I hear you. I am before the end of the show. I'm going to go back to that previous thing about odds because my cousin has just messaged me, and she has a degree in maths, and she said that what Egal has said is right. It'll be based on bookmakers' odds, and she said that it will be around about 40. It's funny because she sent me this text and 2 trophies will be around 44% probability. 2 trophies are more likely than 1 trophy. 3 trophies are less likely. In order, it goes 2 trophies, followed by 1, followed by 3, followed by none, followed by 4 in that percentage. And the percentages she sent me are almost identical to a screenshot Egal sent me of the odds. And I went back to more, how can 3 trophies be more likely than 1? I don't get how that works. And she said it's really, now that she said this, I feel stupid. She went, because there's more common, and this is where it becomes it needs to be a deeper conversation, because there are more combinations of 2 trophies. EFL Cup, FA Cup, Premier League, FA Cup, Premier League, League Cup, Premier League, Champions League, FA Cup, League Cup, FA Cup, Champions League, EFL Cup, Champions League. There's only 4 ways of winning 3 trophies, so that probability is less. But for me, what that doesn't factor in is what you said, how hard it is once you win one to win another and keep going. So I get it now that's been sent through to me because there's more combinations. But I don't know if that factors in. It does factor in football to a certain degree, but it removes the psychology. But thank you, cuz. I appreciate that, Aim, for you sending that through to me. I knew your university education would come in handy one day because
degree
friends, yeah, maths friends. Thanks for watching as well. I hope you and Joe are good. Do me a favor, please, people, and like, share, and subscribe. It means a great deal to us here. We're back live after Galatasaray Liverpool for a short match reaction, and then another one later tonight after Newcastle, Barcelona, and Ati versus Tottenham. I feel like all the big ones are on tomorrow as well, though. And that sounds harsh. Like all the big ones seem to be on one day. Thank you all. Take care. Goodbye. God bless, and we're going to see you all again very